What's going on with you today? I hope you're staying blessed out there. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about Sexyy Red and why she's a problem. This topic was actually brought to my attention by one of my loyal subscribers, Putri and Dead. Thank you for dropping this comment in my last video, and thank you for recommending this topic to me. I said that I was going to look into it, and I did, and now I'm making a video on it because I have a lot to say about this topic. First of all, for anyone who's not familiar with the name Sexyy Red, well, Sexyy Red is a 25-year-old rapper from St. Louis, Missouri. She's one of the biggest female rappers on social media, and her records are very inappropriate for the younger audience, which is very relevant to this topic. But she's really big on social media. She's gone beyond viral at this point. A lot of people are talking about her. Her records are going crazy. She's gotten some of the biggest cosigns in the music industry, including Nicki Minaj and of course Drake. Now, with that introduction being out of the way, let's actually go over this story in regards to Sexyy Red. This is a story that didn't, I feel like, catch as much attention as it should have, and it happened a few weeks back. Now, I did see something related to this, but I didn't really pay that much attention to it. Maybe because, you know, Sexyy Red is someone who's been involved in so many other things, especially like the last couple weeks and the last couple months. Now, this story right here related to Sexyy Red, I feel like needs more attention, at least more than any other things that she's been involved in, because this involves the youth, it involves this younger generation, and it involves the negative impact she's having on young children. Now, you guys know how serious we take that because, you know, children are literally the future, and I think we as adults should be very serious about protecting the innocence of young children, because if we don't, then who's gonna do it? There's a lot of adults out there who, unfortunately, they're literally sleepwalking through life. A lot of these adults unfortunately have children of their own, like Blueface. Y'all seen that video that I made, right? And you guys also know that Blueface is someone who's not a good parent at all. He's the same guy who's literally pushing strippers on his child's face. So there's that. Don't get it twisted though, guys. There's millions of quote-unquote parents out there just like Blueface. He's just one of them, and he's just one who happens to be famous and happens to be recognized and known. But don't get it twisted, guys. There's a lot of them out there, and I just feel like we need to hit on these conversations because there's not enough platforms who are talking about him, unfortunately. So this story involves Sexyy Red herself, and it involves a young teacher, a ballet teacher actually, a young woman. The young woman in question is 22 years old. She teaches ballet to 5-year-old girls. A couple weeks ago, this young woman decided to speak about some things that's been going on in her class, and she did so in this TikTok that went viral.
I'm calling out all the parents. If you're a parent and your child is in pre-K to elementary school to high school, I'm calling you out. The children today, I have never experienced, and I'm 22. Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life.
So in the first half of this TikTok that this young woman put up that ended up going viral, she was speaking about how the majority of the young girls in her ballet class, like 5-year-old young girls, they were having a very hard time respecting authority. Now, obviously, the issue with these children not respecting authority is, hey, she's a ballet teacher, and so anyone who's in her class should be able to follow instructions. In this video, she was specifically talking about how a lot of the young girls in her class, as an example, refused to sit down in their chair when she told them to do so, and that was making her job so much harder. Very understandable. Now, not only are the children in her class refusing to follow instructions, they're also disrespectfully talking back at her. They're also throwing things at each other. She then spoke about how when she brought this up with the children's parents, she got a response that she wasn't really expecting. She told a story about how there was this one girl who was kind of causing a ruckus. She wasn't really following instructions and listening to any of the orders that she was given so she could, you know, keep the structure of the class. And she brought this up with the girl's mother, and her mother actually blamed everything on her, the teacher. Now, this young woman, the ballet teacher, she was just letting out the frustration, like, what is going on in society? How come the parents are now so okay with their children having zero structure out in the world? And that's obviously a great point. I mean, we're talking about a ballet teacher here. I would never expect that a class full of young girls who are supposed to be taught ballet would be anything but orderly. Now, obviously, I'm wrong, and that kind of makes me a little worried.
I teach 5-year-olds ballet. 5-year-old girls ballet. I have a class of 10 students. They don't respect any authority. You ask them, can you stand in your designated spot? They're telling you no and shut up. They're throwing things at each other. They're throwing things at other people, other classmates. You say, can everybody sit in their spot? I don't want to. I'm not doing that. You don't get to tell me what to do. You're not my mom. You confront the parent. The parent tries to argue with you and fuss at you because you tried to reprimand and redirect their kid. I told a young little girl, please sit in your spot. You're not my mom. You don't tell me what to do. Okay. When her mom came to pick her up, I said, hey, your daughter's having a hard time following instructions. And 7 times today, I've had to redirect her to just sit in her spot. Well, clearly she didn't want to sit. And mind you, this is a mom. Clearly she didn't want to fucking sit right there. So, I mean, if she's telling you she don't want to do something, why keep asking her to do it? You know she's not going to do it. What world do we live in? Like, what in you guys' brain as a parent says, my kid not following any directions is a great thing. It's not that serious, and y'all don't have a right to tell her what to do. It's sad. It's sad. It's really, really sad.
Now, on the second part of this viral TikTok, and this is when Sexyy Red comes into play, the young ballet teacher was talking about how the young girls were explicitly stating that they wanted to hear Sexyy Red records being played during the class. Now, before we continue, guys, we're talking about 5-year-old girls, okay? Just keep that in mind. We're not talking about high school kids, and hey, even high school kids, I would be like, that's actually inappropriate, because hey, we're talking about 14 to 18-year-olds. I don't know about you, but I don't think it's appropriate, okay? Maybe you feel different, but I don't think it's appropriate because those are what we call the adolescent years. Those are actually some of the most vulnerable years for an adolescent, not only physically, but especially mentally. Now, this obviously holds way more impact because we're talking about children who are in kindergarten. So think about everything I just said, but apply that to the age that we're talking about.
And another thing that's heart-wrenching is horrifying. It is horrifying. Your 5-year-old daughters are asking to listen to Pound Town and Sexyy. Your daughters, your 5-year-old daughters are asking, can we hear Pound Town? I'm playing them Princess Tiana ballet music. And they are asking me, can we hear Pound? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I'm so scared for these little girls today because this is the most insane agenda push I have ever seen in my life. We do freeze dance. You guys' daughters are twerking at 5. Where's the parenting? Where's the boundaries? Where's the help? Y'all are not helping your kids. You're hurting them. You guys are hurting them. I come every day dressed, ready to go, and I'm in school too. I'm in college. I mean, I put bows in my hair. I'm wearing leotards. I'm trying to get them interested in like proper things for their age, and you guys are exposing your kids to this raunchy secular music. Why is you guys' 5-year-old daughters singing Pound Town? Y'all come in and you're more worried about what's going on your Instagram and TikTok feed versus being a parent. Be a fucking parent. You guys are horrible parents. Like, I'm sorry to say it, but this generation of some of the mom, not all, but majority that I've dealt with kids that are between the ages of 5 and 4 and 3, you guys don't parent your children at all. They have no basic comprehension skills. They can't sit still. No attention span. They're hitting people. They can't talk. They can't communicate. They don't even know how to say, like, I want to go to the bathroom.
So as you guys could obviously hear, this young woman, she's very worried and very concerned for these young girls in her class. Like, she seems genuinely concerned, like she cares, like she actually cares, man, to the point where she's like shedding tears. And she seems to care more than the parents, obviously, because how in the world are these 5-year-old girls even finding Sexyy Red? How do they even know about this artist who has all this questionable content that's not for children in her music? How do they even know about Sexyy Red, right? Now, the answer to that question is obviously because their parents, okay, these little girls' parents, they're not really mentally present with their children. And so the child probably has like a phone, or they borrow the parent's phone and then they're on the phone and they're looking all this stuff up. Because they're out here talking about play Pound Town and play Sexyy, which those are songs from Sexyy Red. We all know what Sexyy Red is talking about in those songs. Now, just in case you don't know, let's actually read some of the lyrics. So this is the chorus to Pound Town. Pound Town just left Pound Town. When my nigga, he just took a bit down. Yeah. That nigga dick a bit down. Yeah. That nigga eat me out. And then this is the first verse to Sexyy. Sexyy Red says, take a bit nigga, show no mercy, do the bitch dirty. She like sexy, why you hurt me? Took him down off them yerkies. When you with me, put that dick all up in my backside. I'm a hood bitch, sitting courtside. I'll show up how this Mac ride, little bit. I'm from the north side. And then this is another one of Sexyy Red's records featuring Sukiana. It's called Hood Rats. She says, hood bitch, I fuck like a pro, nutted all up in a op nigga's throat. When I fuck a nigga, I fuck him on a low. Lost my virginity and turned into a. Just a question to you, if you're listening to this, maybe ponder on what I'm about to ask. If you're, let's say, a parent, or let's say you got some little cousins, if you heard them singing records like this, what exactly would you do? Like, how would you respond? That's something I think everybody, regardless of if you got kids, you should probably ponder on that. Because if you're going to bring kids into this world with this new generation, these are things that you're actually going to have to, think about. Ain't nobody safe out here these days. I'm just saying, especially with how these social media algorithms are set up, because they're set up in a way where they're actually, trying to target children now. Just putting it out there. So these young girls are gonna be singing this at some point, because if they like Pound Town and Sexyy, those two Sexyy Red songs, obviously they're gonna listen to her other music. And we're talking about 5-year-olds here, guys. Like 5-year-olds, okay? Keep that in mind. Now, continuing with the next part of the video. By the way, if you made it this far, can you do me a favor and like this video? Like, if you enjoy this content and you enjoy this conversation, drop a like right now. I appreciate you, and make sure that you're subscribed. Continuing. Now, Sexyy Red, she actually ended up seeing this video, okay, and she ended up responding. So Sexyy Red put up 2 different posts responding to this, so she thought it was a good idea to respond to this twice, one time on Twitter and one time on Instagram. And she essentially said the same thing on both posts. So maybe saying the same thing twice on 2 different platforms ain't so big brain, but maybe that was the idea. I don't know. But anyway, on this Instagram story right here, she took a screenshot of, the teacher going viral after she voiced her frustration. And she said, girl, play Pound Town Sexyy, her songs, and shut the F up, she said. And then same thing on Twitter, she said, girl, play Pound Town Sexyy and shut the F up. And on the Twitter post, she directly responded to the woman's TikTok video, where she was literally expressing her concern, okay? So Sexyy Red saw this, and this is the appropriate response, according to her. So she ain't do this once, she did this twice, okay? Now, we had 2 different types of responses to this entire story. On one hand, we had, the sensible people of this world who are like, of course, little girls shouldn't be singing Sexyy and Pound Town, let alone know about Sexyy Red, right? Why are these young girls talking about play Sexyy Red? They shouldn't do that. That's not something that they should do, okay? Because they're children, they're young, they're 5. And then on the other hand, we had, of course, some quote-unquote adults who shouldn't even be called adults, but we're gonna call them that for now. They were kind of defending Sexyy Red, okay, for whatever reason. I don't really know, because ain't no way you're an adult with a functioning brain who is on Sexyy Red's side here, unless you have a peanut brain, like a brain that's like a macadamia nut or something, then I get it. But anyway, that was kind of the general consensus. We have 2 different types of responses, and obviously, if you're listening to me, you know what side I land on, and I already know what side you land on, because you are actually someone who you can think and you can kind of see what's really going on here. Let's talk a little bit about Sexyy Red, because Sexyy Red, just based off of this response, tells me one thing: she is an absolute puppet. Sexyy Red obviously has she has zero concern for the young generation, because she literally seen the video of this young ballet teacher talking about all these things that were going on in her class, and she decided to defend her destructive music in this instance because she has no concern for the young generation, and because she just cares about getting her records played, even if it's at the detriment of young girls. And it's crazy because, we're talking about another woman who's literally seeing how destructive this music is to these young girls in her class in real time, and she's sharing all this frustration because she wants to see a change and she really cares. And Sexyy Red's response to this young woman was, shut the hell up, just play my records, very blasé, indifferent, I don't really care, just play my music, girl. So that's someone who's completely disregarding morals, and she's only concerned with money, okay? So that's Sexyy Red in a nutshell. She's an industry puppet 100%. I mean, this obviously confirms it. She knows what exactly her music is doing and how it's negatively affecting the youth, but she obviously doesn't have an ounce of concern because she's making money and she doesn't give a damn. But then again, why should she care? She's really in it for herself, right? And the thing about an artist like Sexyy Red as it relates to the music industry is she's someone who's being used to promote certain agendas because she's so easy to control. And this is what the music industry does, specifically in hip-hop, right? They try to find people they could put at the forefront who are willing to do any and everything just for a little buck, so they can use them as puppets to push certain agendas and certain ideologies. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of these ideologies and a lot of these agendas are things that are directly hurting the next generation. So it's not by mistake that someone like her has so much clout on social media right now. I've been saying this, but there's definitely something very dark going on right now behind the scenes. And the darkness isn't some intangible and mysterious thing that I'm talking about. Literally, I'm just talking about what we're seeing right now. Here we have an extremely popular figure on social media who has a lot of influence at their fingertips and knows exactly the destruction she's causing with her music, and she not only chooses to ignore it, but she double downs on it publicly. That tells me that Sexyy Red doesn't really have a soul. If she did, then she put it up for sale a long time ago, and now she's gone. She's literally here in physical form, but her soul and spirit is somewhere else. Because someone with a soul and someone with a conscience would at least acknowledge what they're doing. If not acknowledge it, she would have never responded to this, because she would have been like, you know what, I know exactly what this young woman is talking about, and so I'm not really gonna respond because, I kind of feel a little bit bad. But that's not what she said. She literally told this woman, shut the hell up, play my records. So this is the exact reason why the industry is promoting her right now. They're promoting her because they know that she's willing to do any and everything for a little buck. It's just, to me, it don't really make sense why we even have people defending someone like this in a situation like this. When an actually intelligent young woman who's out here working with the children speaks her mind with great concern, there's people out there pushing back on what she's saying. And this is happening because there's so many people out there, they just refuse to wake up and they refuse to see the truth. Because seeing the truth actually takes a lot of effort, believe it or not. It's very easy to not only ignore but sleepwalk through these conversations that we're having right now. Most people are not really going to understand the weight of a story like this, because most people are like them zombies on The Walking Dead. They have no clue what's going on, they can't see what's going on, nor can they predict what's going to happen. A lot of people on social media be talking about how women's voices are marginalized and ignored and nobody's listening to women when they speak, but they only say that when the woman in question doesn't go against the status quo. When she actually does, like this ballet teacher, and she actually challenges and kind of pushes back on the things that people are very uncomfortable with, and she's talking about these very hard conversations that a lot of people just refuse to have, they not only make fun of her, but they also shame her and refuse to see the truth in what she's saying. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of women just, they refuse to speak up, because a lot of women know, hey, if I say something like this, I'm actually going to be the one that's getting attacked, and you're goddamn right, you will. And you know what the thing is, contrary to popular belief, I actually think that women are more at risk at getting attacked, especially when they kind of challenge certain conversations, because people aren't so used to seeing a woman outspoken like this. That's the same reason why the music industry doesn't really like Nicki Minaj like that, because she actually stands up for her shit. So when they see a woman being outspoken and standing on 10 toes down, they're going to make sure that they attack attack her so they can discourage other women from speaking out. Because there's a lot of women out here, especially women with powerful voices in the industry who, for example, have a lot of things to say about a Sexyy Red, but they're never gonna say a damn thing because they don't want to be ostracized, and they don't want other people, but especially other women, to be like, hey, why are you hating on another woman? When in reality, this ain't about hating on another woman. This is really about protecting the innocence of the young generation, which is something that not a lot of people care about now, and I'm just dumbfounded at that fact. But anyway, I could, keep on ranting about this. But you know what? I'm just going to end it here because I'm really curious to hear what you have to say about this topic. By the way, if you made it this far, guys, do me a favor and like this video, okay? The likes really help because it promotes the video in the algorithm. So if you appreciate all the conversations we're having on here, just drop a like and make sure you're subscribed as well. Any thoughts on this conversation surrounding Sexyy Red? What do you guys think about some of the stuff that the teacher said? Do you agree with the teacher? Do you agree with Sexyy Red? What do you think about Sexyy Red's response? Curious to hear what you have to say. So that being said, see you in the comments and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. I'm out.